An early morning start for the Crofton volunteers preparing for a public steaming day.
So today we got here about 7 to start raking out from yesterday's warm through of the boiler and to lay the bed and start today's fire, getting ready to make steam. In a moment my assistant is going to go and close the cone valve and then we'll be ready to start building some steam for the day.
This is a quiet time with a chance to plan for the day ahead.
I'm in charge, not you. You're the assistant.
She's the boss.
The engines rest quietly, waiting for steam. The steam raising continues.
Got some pressure registering now.
Yeah, we're up to 8 psi, and when we get to 10, then I'll ask John if he'd like to let the small engines start running. Warming through, yeah. We might have to hold back a bit if we can, because I think we're a bit early today with the pressure.
I'll open.
Okay,
you will open
right.
them up. Yeah, I'll open them up.
Enough. That's it.
There's now enough steam pressure to start the warm through of the small engines.
I guess you think Steaming Day is a real special event when it's open to the public.
They are. It's the one time the engines, the engine house, the pump house all come to life. It's a completely different animal when it's steaming. It's great to see people moving around the station, enjoying it, and the volunteers being able to talk about the one thing they're passionate about, and that's the engines.
And you'll be driving one of the engines today?
I am. I'm lucky enough to be driving number 1 engine, starting it up this morning, and hoping all is well with it.
It's getting close to opening time and the team briefing begins. With the volunteer team now briefed, the warmth through of the main beam engine cylinders is underway. The preserved clock, originally from the Honey Street Wharf on the Kennerton-Avon Canal, is checked and wound up. Now open, the first of our visitors begin to arrive. The small stationary engines are now happily running. Meanwhile, the 200-year-old beam engines sizzle and simmer.
Number 1 here. Stand by to start number 1 engine. Stand by to start number 1. Chocks out number 1, please. Chocks out number 1. Keep going.
As the steam begins to flow, the giant engines begin to stir into life from their slumber, to wake up the whole building. As if, in response, water starts to bubble and swirl in the steam condenser. From 40 feet below from a well, in the bowels of the station, canal water is raised up to the surface. It makes its entrance into the launder at 1 ton per stroke. The water begins its journey into the parched, dried-out leat. As it starts its journey back to the summit level of the canal. The building is now alive with the steady beat of the engines. And the visitors are loving it. The beams rise and fall. Steam valves open and shut. All interconnected with levers, rods, bolts, and bearings. A steady flow of visitors enter the station boiler house to admire and take in the historic atmosphere. The ever-hungry boiler, with its mouth wide open, is always ready to take more coal. And the attendant boiler man is always ready to oblige.
Have you enjoyed your visit to Crofton today?
We've thoroughly enjoyed it, absolutely. We were going to come here last year by canal boat, but we didn't quite get this far. So today was an opportunity to actually drive here and see the engines working. So we've seen both engines running now, number 1 and number 2. So it's absolutely fascinating, and the staff have been very informative and knowledgeable, telling us about how things work. So it's been a brilliant visit, so we're glad we came.
Throughout the day, the engines pump and the water flows.
So how long ago was it you were here?
Oh gosh, I practically grew up here, so I've been coming here for the better part of 35 years. And we spent so much time here when we were little, and even though we've moved further away, I still make a point of coming back. And now I've got children of my own, I make a point of bringing him too, because it was such a nice place for me to come. When I was little, I enjoyed it so much.
So has it changed a lot?
Oh gosh, no, it's nice that it's almost a time capsule. It's as I remember it, you know, sort of 30 years ago, and it's nice that it's stayed that way. I like that it is still exactly as I remember it. There's a few things that are different. I remember it before the staff room was built around the back, and there are a few other little changes, but in terms of the essence of it, it's still exactly how it was, and I think that's part of the magic of it, for me at least, and that it hasn't changed in 30 years, and it's always nice to come back to.
We came a very long way today. And we had loads of traffic coming here, didn't we?
It wasn't so bad.
Yeah, we come all the way from Tesco to all the way over here.
What you're trying to say is we came a long way because we live in Bath.
How have you enjoyed your visit to Crofton today?
Very much indeed. I've known the Beam Engines for a long time. We live in Hungerford, and I have been around before, but a long time ago, so really enjoyable to get around again.
What was the most interesting part? Did any particular part stand out, or just the general atmosphere of the place?
I think, well, obviously the atmosphere, and you've got the coal-fired beam engines working, but also I think the scale of it is always impressive, and things like the weight, the volumes of water, things of that sort, and set in the history of the time. So yeah, I enjoyed that.
The drivers keep a watchful eye, carefully adjusting the engine's performance.
So have you enjoyed your visit to Crofton today?
Very much indeed. For an afternoon we weren't too sure what was going to happen. It was very, very interesting. An awful lot of people who knew what they were talking about, and it made it even more interesting.
I can only admire the efforts and the enthusiasm of all your supporters.
Yes. You say you've been here before. You're a regular visitors to Crofton?
No.
We came along on a narrowboat, and we had to stop and we had to come inside and have a look.
I think I was generally interested in just how they did it in those days. Many technology which is now gone.
I mean, how they move the things, how they move the equipment to here, and the speed, the weight and everything, and it was literally the cleverness of what was done in those years.
We're talking to one of your guys about the difficulty of obtaining coal. I just hope that you can continue to find the coal and keep it working. If it doesn't work, it's a question, if it's not working, you lose it, you lose something.
After a great day steaming, and as eloquently summed up by one visitor, who said, "If it's not working, you lose something." I think we can all agree with that.